beautiful collectors and Transformer fans? Once again, it's the one and only Optibotimus coming at you with another video review. And on today's episode, thanks to the absolutely incredible support of all of my Optibotimus Plus channel members, we're going to be taking a look at the new Transformers Kingdom Deluxe Class SCORPONOK, or more specifically, Predacon SCORPONOK, because I guess just calling him that is not allowed. For the package though, of course, you got that Transformers text with the Generation logo, little itty bitty window, and then gorgeous art of him in his scorpion and his robot mode, and that is an ugly face. It's like, you ugly. Real disgusting. The side here obviously has that Transformers Kingdom box art. The back here shows that he transforms in 24 steps. And of course, you got images of him in his scorpion and his robot mode. But for the packaging on this guy, that's about it. So without further ado, let's get him out here and see how cool he actually is. Alright guys, so here we have SCORPONOK open up out of his packaging and obviously in his scorpion mode. And, you know, I mentioned it kind of in my tracks review that we shouldn't feel too bad because we have gotten an incredible line of Transformer figures with Kingdom and Siege and all that kind of stuff. And it seems like now that the War for Cybertron trilogy is winding down, I personally feel like we're getting more lackluster figures. It's not that he's bad. I just feel like there's just, I don't know, just an expectation, I guess I have. And for me, he doesn't really live up to it. Scorpion mode, I think, looks fantastic. This guy really does a great job of looking like a scorpion, which is not an easy task, in my opinion. But there are a few things that I don't particularly like. The biggest being these legs. Now, while the detail on the legs looks really good, you can see some nice texture and everything, I don't like how they got this completely connected. You can see that this one here is an individual leg. The front one here is an individual leg from this point, like where this connects here at the base. This one connects here, and then this, they have two that are connected. I'm not a big fan of that. I mean, you can move it around and it's going to be okay and it's going to look fine, but I just feel like they could have made that separate, kind of like Black Arachnia. So I feel like that is a bit of a letdown. Other than that, I don't really mind it all that much. I mean, he's got his little scorpion tail, which you can kind of hinge that around, but it's kind of stuck here. You can't really do too much, so you can only really articulate this bit and then the little stinger section. So you can move that around, but you can't bring it all the way over because his leg is actually tucked underneath there. So you it's kind of locked there. Face looks good. He doesn't look nearly as ugly as that package. That was really ugly and terrifying. This guy actually looks pretty good there. I like that he's got claws that can open, and you can see that he does store his weapons underneath there. What these weapons are, I have no earthly clue. This is a fly, if you can kind of see that. That's straight up just a little fly. So I don't know why. Okay. And then he does have the little missile pod thing, which works out pretty good, but you got the little holes right in there. So you do have that. I like the texture detail on there as well. The whole thing, all of these Kingdom figures have a great textural detail throughout them, which really is very impressive. You can see that the bottom section does have some of this robot junk kind of hanging up there. I wish this kind of collapsed up a little bit more because otherwise it just kind of dangles there, but it is what it is. Now, he is the only Scorponok, well, other than the G1 Scorponok, but he's the only one that I currently have. So I'll just do some comparisons with the other Kingdom Predacons that we have. Here is Megatron, so let's get him standing there. And then, as I had mentioned previously, here is Black Arachnia, and because he is even still technically in the Kingdom series a Predacon, here is Dinobot. So you can see that scale-wise, I think he works pretty good. A Scorpion should be a little bit bigger than a Black Widow spider, but you can see that the size here works pretty decently. I mean, like, this is a deluxe figure, so a lot of people complain about how small she was, but she should be small. He is a deluxe figure as well, and considerably larger. But I think that this is a good group, and depending on when this video goes up, Transformers Kingdom has released. So, spoiler alert, skip 15 seconds in the future if you don't want to hear this. This is your entire cast of Predacons in the Kingdom show. There are no other Predacons that we get. But I think that the scale here works pretty decently. I mean, for the most part, I am happy with it. And obviously, I'll bring these guys out in robot mode here in a sec. Transformation on them, though, is actually fairly easy to do. First, what you're going to want to do is just come around here to the leg section. You're going to pull this out like that, which will probably bring this whole thing up. But you can see that it's all kind of connected. So you could bring that, but then you're going to have that, which is, it's not good. And then pull this piece out from underneath his tail, just like that. And then you can rotate all these bits around, straighten everything out, straighten out his feet, and then we'll fiddle with that here in just a sec. Come around here, rotate him, and then personal preference on these, you want to dislodge this and kind of push it along his back section. I think the instructions kind of show rotating this around and putting that there. And then I think the instructions actually have this kind of pointing up, but I don't really like the way that looks, so I'm going to just kind of tuck that down. Again, it's personal preference how you really want to do it. Kind of bring the tail up however you see fit. This piece here is going to come up and lock in. It is a really secure kind of lock. You've got a little section here on his butt area that you really need to make sure you get that to lock in. That will allow you to collapse his chest fully. Then straighten these out, rotate that down, straighten that out, rotate that down, take this piece, I guess I could have did this before, rotate his head down, I can just kind of wedge that down there, there we go, get that all the way in, and then collapse that along his back, and then bring his head all the way up. You kind of have to spread these a little bit past where they're meant to go, and then collapse his chest in. If you mess things up here, just kind of straighten that all up just to make that look decent. I guess you can just rotate that. I mean, it doesn't really matter, like I said, how you do that. And then just tuck that around, bring these down and rotate these. How do you want that? You want it like that. And then I'm going to rotate his little claw sections. So we can just kind of fiddle with this. This is going to be the front. And you just, again, fiddle with his little claw bits to kind of have that position right. Straighten all that. And then when you're done, there you have SCORPONOK in his robot mode. And he's okay. Now, as much as I really like the way that he looked in the Scorpion mode, I feel robot mode gets a little bit off. Now, and while I really like the way that he looks in the Scorpion mode, I'm not a big fan of the design here in his robot form. And to be honest, this is how he looks in the show. So I can't really complain too much about it, but the overall design, though, is what I don't like. It's not that Hasbro did a bad job recreating it. I'm just not super happy with the aesthetic look of them. And that's just from the standpoint of the show. Now, again, you do have these extra sets. You have the little fly. You have the little missile thing here that you can just plug in. Oh, no, I dropped it. It's gone. Well, oh, no, it's right there. But you just plug it in there so you can have him blasting people. Great head sculpt. I think that looks really sharp. No pun intended, but there are a lot of sharp edges. Well, not really sharp edges, but, you know, like little spikes and stuff. I mean, I really dig the way that looks. I mean, real nice gold paint on there. I do kind of wish he had better eyes. I mean, as you can see, it's all one visor. When you have it like that, though, it kind of looks like there's two eyes, but it is a solid gold visor going across. I don't know. I just feel like aesthetically the design with the big chest, the big arms, and then what look like little tiny legs, he looks stubby. I'm just, like I said, I'm not a big fan of the overall just look of him. Color-wise, though, still looks really good. Obviously, you have the purple and the red. You have some grayish purple elements. You can kind of see that does have a little bit of purple in the gray, which does look really nice. A lot of different gold bits throughout there. Again, you can't really do too much with his little tail section other than just kind of have... Oh, oops. Sorry. Oh, no, now that's gone too. Oh, man, everything's just falling into the realm down below. So I will take the time to pick up the other stuff. So here we go. Let's put that little guy back on there. So yeah, it does kind of stink that you can't get more of a range of motion with the tail, but it's not bad. It's just gonna... Oh my god, I'm literally dropping everything that's in front of me. But yeah, I just, like I said, he just has this really short, stubby, kind of chubby look to him. Now, for the comparisons, let's bring in his leader. Here is Lord Megatron, obviously a much bigger figure. Then, of course, here we have Dinobot, who doesn't want to stand, and then Black Arachnia. And again, these are two deluxe figures, so I think in general they scale pretty well together. But yeah, as you can see, he is pretty short, which that's interesting for me. Let me get more of a head-on kind of thing here. You can see that despite the fact that he was much bigger in his Scorpion mode, she was very small. She does get pretty tall. So it's fairly accurate, I would say. Honestly, for me, it doesn't really matter that much because most of the time, and I've said this before, my Beast Wars figures are usually always in their beast mode. First articulation, pretty well articulated as you would imagine. The head here is on a bit of a ball joint, but you don't really get a ton of range of motion with it. You do get the left and right, but the up and down really is kind of limited. You got the shoulder swivel, you have a little double hinge right here, so you got that as part of the transformation. Then you got another hinge that allows you to move it forward and back, in and out, all stuff. You got the swivel, you have a elbow joint, which is nice. He does rotate at the, I guess, wrist, and these can open up, so you can kind of position this however you want. Mostly it comes in handy with the beast mode. I kind of like leaving the hands, if you can call them hands, like that. Kind of like that a little bit more. He does rotate at the waist, but most of it is part of the transformation. All this stuff is here, and it kind of gets in the way of everything. So, I mean, you can kind of hinge that up and get that a little bit more forward, I suppose, but kind of looks bad. You do have the hips with the... Are those ball joints? No, those are universal ones. So you do that, have the forward and back, in and out, the swivel at the thigh, bend at the knee. He does have ankle tilt, so you can get that bent fairly nicely. And a little bit of forward and back, but just with the toe. You got this back section that doesn't really help with much, but you can kind of do that, I suppose. So pretty much all the articulation that you would expect in the figure is here. I do like them, but as I've explained this recently, I review my figures based on 3 criteria. The robot mode, the transformation, and the beast mode. I think the beast mode is really very good. Robot mode, I think, gets a little bit weak of sorts, so half a star for that. The transformation is very, very simplistic. It's not overly satisfying to do. I do like how, I mean, he's got a very big backpack and you've got big heels here, so it balances them pretty decently. But transformation is very, very simple. So, again, another half a star for the most part. So, there you go. People have always asked me about doing, like, a rating scale for things. So, there you go. I kind of did one for you. So, we're going to get that out of the way. We're going to split his chest for his transformation, and then you just take the head and you slightly tuck it down just like that. That whole section is going to stay up. Come on here to the back, get these little insect. Is this an insect? Somebody tell me. I'm not 100% sure if a scorpion is an insect. I know that spiders really aren't. Those are arachnids. This one, I don't know. This part does get a little bit tricky to pull his head out. I'm going to bring in the power sword to do it. There we go. Pull that out. Like, nope, I didn't even do it. There we go. Pull out his little fangs and then put that down there. And then I always do that because it helps me remember which way these arms have to be oriented. So you want to bring that around, and then that's going to come around like that, and that angles back. So again, you're going to rotate this bit around so that you kind of make like a side jaw, I don't know, and then just position that. That's looking really good. Take this leg section, we're going to detach that, pull all the way back. This piece here is going to go to the back, so rotate that around, and then this is going to hinge like around there. There we go. Rotate that, and then this comes up. Wait, how do I? Let's see. Does that go all the way up in there? I don't remember if that goes all the way up in there. All right. Well, I know that's going to go like that. That's going to sandwich in there. There we go. Right there. Then you're going to rotate this around. This part does get a little bit tricky to do. You have this little piece that you have to bring that back, and then you got this little gap section right here that they want you to feed that into. So kind of get that there. No, wait, maybe no. That can't be right. No, yeah, that's going to go all the way up here. And then you just kind of fit that through there, but it's really tricky to do. Just kind of push the heel section in first as best as you can. It's not easy, honestly. I don't know why it's not easy. It should be easy to do, but I'm not good at it. So there we go. Just gonna push that in there, and that's all going to line up. But you have to have that little spike coming through there. I don't know why. And then you take this. This is going to fold and literally sit there along that side, just like that. And then these just hinge down. Does that go all the way down? Oh, there we go. And oh no, I thought that popped off. Sometimes these pop off, and I'm again not a very big fan of these legs. So bring that around, just kind of fiddle with this. I feel like no, that's right. Okay. And then position that, and there you go. When you're done, there you have him back in his scorpion mode. In general, though, in my opinion, this is a fairly average figure. For me personally, I think that his animal mode here is probably the best looking. Colors are all really nice. The cleanup of it is really good. You don't have a lot of excess robot stuff hanging out. In general, just an overall really good representation of the character. Transformation, I feel, is kind of boring, honestly. It really doesn't have anything that wows me. It is definitely simple, but it's also pretty straightforward, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just not overly fun to do. And while the robot mode looks pretty good, and again is accurate to how he looks in the cartoon, I'm just not a huge fan of the design of him. With the really big upper body and the short stubby legs, it just kind of is meh to me. Now that's not necessarily the toy's fault, that's just the character's design. So I'm not going to knock really much off for it, but like I said, the overall impression that I have of the figure is just, it's average. And personally, I feel like if they're going to have only like a total of 4 Predacons in the show, they could have done a better one than Scorponok. You know, Inferno would have been great, Waspinator would have been fun. Hell, even Tarantulas, which is more of an iconic Predacon, I think. Either way, the toy is still pretty good, and I do obviously recommend him if you are collecting these. But that's it. There you guys go. My look at the new Transformers Kingdom Deluxe Class Scorponok. If you enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate it if you would do one very simple thing for me, and that's just to hit that good old-fashioned thumbs up button. Believe it or not, that one very small gesture really does go a long way towards helping me out, and I would really very much appreciate it. I also have to send a huge shout out to all of my Optibotimus Plus channel members, who through their direct support, now more than ever, help to make reviews like this possible. And if you'd like information on how you can help support my channel by becoming a channel member, where you can get exclusive channel chat and comment emojis, loyalty badges, early access to video reviews, exclusive live streams, Zoom calls, unboxing videos, the occasional giveaways, as well as access to the Optibotimus Plus only Discord, then please consider becoming a member of Optibotimus Plus. And for that, all you have to do is click on that little join button right down there. And finally, guys, remember that the real trouble with the world is that too many people grow up. Thank you for watching and taking the time to be a kid.